Hello everyone, I'm Vinny the Knife Guy in Reno, Nevada. Just recently I made a long form video of starting your own knife business, and I had a few private messages asking, can I really make $100 per hour? And the short answer is yes, but I also lied, and I apologize. I lied about that because I went on the low end. The truth is you can make a lot more money. I have 15 knives here and I charge $10 per knife. Depending where you live, you might charge more, you might charge less. But in this video, I'm going to show a completely unedited video or a completely unedited time lapse of how long it takes me to sharpen 15 knives. I'm gonna start with a 120 grit belt to refine it and apex it, 600 grit to refine the scratch pattern, a leather belt to remove any burr, and then paper test cut. I'm not rushing. This is my standard flow. And yeah, so I'm gonna put a timer here or here on whatever side, and I'm gonna show you my whole process, not cheating. Just wanted to show how much money you really can make per hour. And I did underestimate how much you can make, but you know, if I said you can make a lot more, people may not believe me, but people have actually asked, can I really make $100 per hour? I'm like, oh yes. So I'll show you the whole process, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Take care. Hey guys, I just want to say when I put the video into the editor to make sure everything looked good, all you hear is me breathing, and it sounds completely muffled like I'm scuba diving underneath water. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna do a little voiceover, but you'll have like a 20-minute video of just me talking. There still won't be any edits or any fast forwarding, so I can show you the whole process, but I'm gonna mute the whole video of me sharpening because it sounds horrible. Just a disclaimer. Have a great day. Okay, here's my setup. I have my angle set at 17, 120 grit belt, then I'll refine it with a 600 grit belt. I have 12 flat edge knives and 3 serrated knives. I have my microphone in my mask, so it'll be a little muffled, so I'll talk slower and hopefully clearer. And then I'll refine each knife with this leather belt. I already have 3 micron diamond spray on it, so I'm just letting it dry. And then I'm going to test everything on a piece of paper and make sure it cuts well. And I just want to prove that you can make really good money sharpening knives. So here we go. All right, I have you guys on right here. All right. So my respirator on. Ear pros on. All right, here we go, guys. Let's start the timer. See guys, I wasn't joking. I sound like Darth Vader, and I couldn't subject you guys to listen to that the entire time. I forgot some of the stuff I said when I was talking in my mask, but I'll do the best that I can. So currently I'm checking for a burr. I'm using a 120 grit belt, and 120 grit for me works really, really well as the initial belt to apex and reprofile any knife and remove any damage. I do have 80 and 50 grits, but those are for more extreme jobs or axes or just something else I need that low of a grit. So it only takes a couple passes to reprofile and apex each knife. Try to make sure I remember which one I'm going at. So I'm putting slight pressure on the upward pass. I'm going edge leading. So I really enjoy edge leading because for this machine, I'm pushing up towards the belt and the belt is pushing against me. So we have kind of like a uniform scratch pattern and pressure. Also, I feel that the burr is smaller going edge leading, and yeah, I really enjoy it. But there's nothing wrong with going edge trailing, and you'll see me going edge trailing on the serrated knives to bring up a burr. So I'm checking a burr every time I do one complete pass on both sides, and the light really helps. So you can kind of see like the white line, and that one is done, only a few passes. I've been asked a few times why I wear gloves, and the person that I learned a lot of knife sharpening from, Paul from Alexandria Knife Sharpening, asked me why I wear gloves, because that reduces the feel that I have, which is true. On the 120 grit, I can still feel a burr, but for me, being OCD and being clean, I like wearing gloves. So I'm not going to change on that, but there is a trade-off. One, going edge leading, you do get a lot of metal shavings on you, and yes, I can wash my hands, but it's just, for my peace of mind, my OCD, I like to wear gloves. So this one only took a couple passes, and you can see me rocking the blade right there. Rocking the blade really helps me find out if I'm flat or not. So I'm not rushing. Sometimes you just put the knife on and it doesn't feel right, so I rock it back and forth to make sure it's flat on my angle guide. And again, this one is set at 17 degrees. So that's a serrated knife. I'm not going to sharpen with the 120. That's too coarse, so I'll use the 600 grit. We have a nice little carving knife here. So with this one, the tip is flat. Well, I say flat, but there's no real recurve to it, even though it's rounded at the point. So you won't see me really curve the knife at all. So I'm going straight across. Do a light curve at the very tip. So I'm keeping the knife flat as possible. Just dragging it through both sides. I was really bummed out when I found out the recording was so bad on this, because I'm talking all the way through on the feel of each knife, and so I apologize. I'd like to try this again, but probably have my microphone on the outside of my mask, kind of like how I do my live streams. So just back and forth. This is kind of like mundane, so I'm sorry if this is boring. I just wanted just to show in real time how fast you can sharpen 15 knives. And the 120 is the workhorse. So the 120 grit takes the most metal off, but it also takes the longest to do, because if the knife is damaged, not on the correct angle, I have to reprofile it. And this just takes the most amount of time. Once I'm done with the 120, going to the 600 is super fast. You only do enough passes to refine the edge, and it's only 2 to 3 passes, so it's really fast. I can probably get roughly about 30 knives out of one Cubitron belt, which is fantastic. So if I'm charging $10 per knife and I can get 30 knives out of it, I think that's a great cost ratio. So I'm not putting too much pressure, but I'm just putting it just enough where I can really feel that belt grab onto that knife. So having a light, I'm using a sewing machine light, and it's very small. I have a magnet attached to my 1x30, and it's just fantastic. So having light is one of the most important things. Back to wearing gloves. I can still feel a burr with the 120, even with gloves on, but even with gloves off, I can't feel a burr at the 600 or 1200 if I sharpen that high. So, but having light can really help me see if I haven't apexed like the knife, or if I haven't created a burr yet. Sometimes like these small little paring knives are actually harder than the large knives because there's not a lot of steel behind it. So if you have a very thin small knife, you have to make sure you contact most of it on your angle guide, or you can freehand. Just make sure you have the same angle. So this one has a curve at the tip, so you see me roll the knife like that. So you want to keep it parallel just until you have that curve, but imagine a flat line, and when the knife hits that line on the machine, you want to keep that same angle. So that's why you see me curve the knife, because if you don't curve like the knife, then you won't ever hit the tip. But if you curve it too soon, which could be lower or higher, you're changing the angle. And I've been asked why I don't charge by the inch, because I don't want to measure. I figure that this is a pretty standard set of knives for most people. Some people have less, some people have more, but 10 to 15 knives is pretty standard for a homeowner. And I hate these birds' beaks. These ones, I don't like sharpening them. They are just a pain. Be very cautious going edge leading on curved knives like this. You can cut your belt. I've done that a few times, so being very cautious. I just hate sharpening these birds' beaks. And back to the pricing, because most people have larger knives, some people have smaller knives. I just think it's a fair balance of pricing. All right, so we are done at the 7-minute and 43-second mark with the 120 grit. So I did 12 knives in just under 8 minutes. That's not bad. And now we're going to the 600 grit Trizact and just equal passes back and forth. All right, again, with the pricing, I don't want to measure. I don't want to take the time to, I don't want to argue with the customer if it's 2 3/4 inches or 3.5 inches. Like, do you charge more or do you charge less? I know people charge $1 an inch, $2 per inch. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. You just have a ruler taped down and you just mark it down. But I don't want to remember with the 15 knives how long is each knife. And I just figure I'll just count as many knives as there are, charge $10, and most people think it's a very fair price. So what you can do is call around other sharpeners and find out what they're charging. You don't want to be the highest, but you definitely don't want to be the lowest either. Find out what you're worth and plan accordingly. Most sharpeners here in Reno charge $10 per knife, and I think that's a fair price, and that's what I'm going with. So, and once you see how fast I can sharpen all of these knives, all 15 of these knives, and $10 per knife, extrapolate that to 1 full hour, and your hourly rate is incredible. People have asked me when to swap out belts, and I bought equal amounts of my 120 and 600 grit, and I swap them out at the same time. The 120 probably gets worn faster than the 600, and it's very easy to tell when your 120 grit is becoming or losing its abrasiveness. Grab your fingernail and try to scratch it. If there's any grit or grip left on it, it'll actually catch your fingernail. If all the material is gone, your finger is just going to glide over it. On the 600 grit, the abrasiveness is so small, it's so tough to actually tell. And you could still grab a little bit with your fingernail, and I've done plenty of knives with it. So I discard them when the 120 grit is completely worn. But you can definitely get a lot of knives out of it. I think each the Cubitron belt, I'm paying a little over $6 per belt, and I forgot what I'm paying for the Trizact, but probably $4 or $5 for the 1x30. They all change depending on what size that you need. But you can see how fast I'm firing through these knives with the 600 grit. You're not really sharpening, you're just refining the scratch pattern, and you just want to make sure you're hitting the apex of it. So just a couple passes back and forth, and the light, again, really helps. And I'll go into a little more detail what I'm doing with the 3 serrated knives. I've tested it with a 120 grit belt to sharpen on the back edge of it, and it just seems too coarse, and I think the 600 is the best solution to sharpen it on the back edge of the serrated knives. These serrations on the serrated knives are really good, so I don't have to cut in any new ones. If you have to, that takes a lot more time because you have to go through each individual serration. And there's a few different ways to sharpen the serrated knives, and I'll go over that with touching it on the back edge, going edge trailing, and then you could either use a Dremel with a wire wheel brush, which actually works out really well. I put the knife on a magnet and I go through each serration with the wire wheel. Works great. But now I've been using a felt belt to weaken the burr and flip it back and forth, and then my leather belt knocks it off. So that's a great combo, and I've been having amazing results with that. I think we have one more knife left before, yep, that's a bird's beak. I hate this knife. The purpose of this knife is for any round fruit, or if you want to peel or something, but I don't know many people that actually use it. On recurves like this, having a belt splitter and having maybe a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch belt works out really well. There's not much recurve on this one, so I'm fine doing it the way I am. And be very cautious. Going edge trailing is way safer, so you don't cut the belt. All right, so you can see, so I'm explaining here, someone touched up the edge of the back of the knife on this one. And all I'm doing is just gently pushing down, not flat, but pretty acutely, and I'm bringing up a burr. And let's see if I can show you. So you see like that white line? I went pretty fast on that. But that white line is a burr, and I brought up a burr very quickly with that, and then I'll knock it off with the felt belt. So here the serrations are wider, same process. It looks like I'm holding it flat, but it's slightly raised. And I think with this one, I go back over it again to, so I'm explaining right there that I didn't hit that serration all the way, but you don't want to spend too much time on it or you can overheat the knife. So I'll just do a couple more passes. Don't put more pressure, just do more passes to not overheat like the knife. Now you can see that white line is brought up on almost every serration, so this is going to slice amazing once I knock the burr off. And we have the final one. Just a couple of seconds on each section of the serration. I know you can use like a very small split belt, but I found out this works out really well too. So we are done with the 600 grit. That was around 14 minutes. All right, so we are all done now. We just have to remove every burr. So now this is going edge trailing, so I don't want to cut into it. Here's my yellow felt belt. Also, I'm recording on a chest harness, so you still see like the point of view. I think this works really well, but let me know in the comments if you want more of like a fixed angle position or you like seeing this point of view. So I'm just moving the light up so I don't hit it. And yeah, this is weakening the burr, and I'm just moving it back and forth. And this is weakening the burr, and the leather belt's gonna be amazing at removing it completely. I'm gonna be swapping out machines. I bought a low-speed bench grinder with a leather wheel and a Scotch-Brite wheel, and I'm gonna test that out to see if that works better than my leather belt. The problem with the leather belt is that it does stretch over time, and with the wheel it doesn't. So I'm very curious to see if I'm gonna like that better. Final serrated knife on the felt belt. And I can push in a little harder, which is great. And you can't do that with the leather belt, or you actually can cut it. So with this felt one, you can push in a little harder to really weaken that burr. All right, we are done at the 15-minute 44-second mark on the felt belt. And then the leather belt has 3-micron diamond spray on it. I apply that about every 10 to 15 knives or so. I applied this before I started sharpening, and I let it dry. If you don't let your diamond spray dry, it's gonna splatter all over you and your workshop. That happened to me a few times, so take my advice, let it dry before you sharpen. And with going edge leading, I am creating a very small burr, and that's why you only see me go only a few passes with the leather belt. And you'll see the amazing results that I get from it. So I don't have a script I'm going off of on this one, so I apologize if I'm rambling a little bit. When I was doing this in real time, I was talking about exactly what I'm doing, what I'm feeling. So this is kind of hard to do, the voiceover on it, but I can't let you listen to that Darth Vader voice the entire time and hearing me breathe. So thank you for sticking around and listening to this voiceover while I'm sharpening everything in real time. So this probably isn't the most exciting video, but it's to show proof of exactly how fast you can sharpen and still give amazing results. Here's the serrated knife, and I'm putting it at an angle to really get in those serrations or scallops. And then since I'm freehanding, I'm trying to match up the existing angle that I sharpened at. I sharpen at 17 degrees, and that's what I want to try and keep it at. I've heard people say you can increase the angle to let's say 19 degrees or 18, or if I sharpen at 17, maybe go to 18 degrees to really hit that apex. It's totally up to you. I found out the best way to remove a burr is just hitting at the same angle. Just go over it a few times, but having some abrasive like that 3-micron diamond spray. You can go higher microns, but experimenting, I think the 3-micron is just an amazing all-purpose abrasive. Here's the other serrated knife. You can see me going at the angle. And we're on to the small paring knives. I'm applying a little pressure. I'm not like pushing down on the belt too hard. I don't want to take the chance of potentially rolling the edge. So it's so tough to judge on a video of how much pressure, but it's kind of intuitive. Just enough where you feel that the belt is hitting the apex, but don't go macho on it and try to push down and break your belt. Just a little pressure is totally fine. And always go edge trailing, otherwise you'll just cut into your leather belt and ruin it and actually damage your knife. This is the bird's beak, so you see me going at this weird angle here, just matching up like the curve of it. And we have the final serrated knife. All right, so we are done with removing the burr at like 19 minutes and 30 seconds. And now we have to test it. We have to make sure every knife cuts very well. So that one cuts amazing. Slice is perfect. That one cuts well. There have been times where I have to resharpen it, but everything on this batch came out amazing. The fillet knife worked out really well. I think that was a serrated knife, yeah, and that cuts super well. Yep. I'm very happy with the results. And you can see I'm not rushing through any of the sharpening, and you can see how well it's slicing. I think that was a serrated knife too. That one cuts so well. A little paring knife. Always put your knives upside down. Putting your knives upside down in the butcher block helps prevent any damage, because if you have it on the edge facing down, you're just cutting into your wood block every time. So I always tell my customers to put the knives upside down. That was the bird's beak. I think it cut well. I'm just showing it again. Cuts super smooth. And the final serrated knife. Boom. That's it. It's done. We just sharpened 15 knives in just over 21 minutes, which equals less than a minute and a half per knife. All right, guys. Well, that was 15 knives. I'm going to put a timer somewhere, not sure which corner, and to find out exactly how fast we sharpened. I don't think I rushed it. You saw the results in real time. of how fast you can actually sharpen, and the knives cut fantastic. So I did lie. I undersold it, saying you can make $100 per hour. You can make a lot more. I just wanted to be cautious of saying how much you can make, but in real time, seeing the private messages come through, let me show you exactly what I could do. I didn't rush. You saw the whole process: 120 grit, 600, leather strop, and test. So 4 things. And my setup is the same. Like, this is always set at this angle unless a customer asks for a different angle, or if I sharpen a Japanese knives. These are all Western style knives, so I kept it at 17. And this is my normal setup. So again, my name is Vinny. If you need any of your knives sharpened, you guys can find me at thenifeguyreno.com or reach out at thenifeguyreno. But yeah, I just want to show having a knife sharpening business is a great, you can say side hustle, small business, whatever you want, but this is an amazing opportunity just to show how fast you can sharpen and make money. All right, guys, that's all I got. Have a great day. Bye.